Okay, just want to do a quick video about the Syrian refugees. The Syrian refugees are fleeing for their lives. For their lives. Saying that again because the phony pro-life anti-American GOP religious cult claims to be pro-life. Of course, they're ardently pro-gun, pro-war, and pro-death penalty. So you can just wipe away that ridiculous, childish hypocrisy of theirs and then move on, dispense with it and move on to reality. That's why the repetitious use of the word life. 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 The Syrian refugees' lives. These are thousands, hundreds of thousands of human beings, millions even, who have been tortured and abused and mistreated savagely, and they are fleeing from the same religious cult that we hope to wipe out so they don't further terrorize any part of humanity. Republicans claim to be pro-life, all-loving. Most of them pretend to be all-loving Christians. Well, here you get to see an example of their all-loving nature, which is to selectively approve of others to be allowed in from their own religious cult, but not from any others. Jeb said that orphans and Christians should be allowed in. One of the most revolting things ever said by an American. This is a secular country. We approve of all religions here and no religions. Whatever you choose or don't choose, that's American. To have one or another thing forced on you is anti-American. Our founding fathers and their forefathers who came here from England actually left so that they could start their own place to live free of religious oppression, free of religious tyranny. Now we have jackasses like this, Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz, trying to impose their specific, singular, personal beliefs onto everyone else. Incidentally, just to tune you in here, to clue you in, that's what the Taliban does, and Al-Qaeda, and ISIS. We're different than everyone else. That's why we have to band together and let in only ISIS, only Taliban, etc. Like this anti-American bullshit that Jeb is pulling. Scumbag Jeb thinks we should let only Christians into our secular country, but not Muslim. That is a moral and ethical and national abomination. It is so anti-American, it's so vile. It shows you where the Republican anti-American terrorist religious cult and its cultists are, how they think and how they behave. It is worthy of massive public criticism. It is the most anti-American sentiment that it could possibly be stated. Not to mention the remarkable insult to humanity, the grotesqueness of its inhuman nature to deny certain groups of people based on a religion. This is what Hitler did. The Jews are different, they're this, they're that. This kind of selective determination, especially by a religious kook, is offensive. It is so disgusting. It is truly revolting and repulsive. That's the Republican cult. That's what these guys are all about. Look at them. And on top of that, to add idiocy to insult, this fuckwit, Jeb Bush, actually thinks someone can prove whether they're a Christian or not. How exactly would you do that? We would love to see Jeb Bush's 5-question profile that determines someone's Christianhood. Because we could say, walking in, no one knew us, take off the mask, we're Christians. Boom, we're right in. How are you going to prove we're not? The stupidest thing ever. So Jeb is going to have a test for it. What would that be, a blood test? What blood type is Christian? We're not aware of that one. We didn't read about that in medical school. We haven't seen that in practice. Where exactly is that? Perhaps Jeb has his own blood test he does. Like in that movie, that great old movie, the remake of A Thing from Another World. The Thing, where they have a petri dish of blood and they stick a hot needle into it and the thing reacts to it. Maybe Jeb Bush has devised such an amazing test, a blood test to determine whether someone's a Christian. When you put the hot needle into the Christian blood, it just sizzles. But when you put the hot needle into the non-Christian blood, a horrible monster, a Jewish man with a big nose materializes out of it, or a Muslim with a machine gun. Ooh, terrifying. Too bad we couldn't have weeded out Christian Tim McVeigh, who blew up our own Oklahoma Federal building, or any of the other thousands of Christians who have committed acts of terrorism against our own nation. So this is what you have in Jeb Bush, a guy who thinks there's a test to determine whether someone's Christian or not. This is the level of intelligence within the Republican, anti-American, anti-science, terrorist religious cult. Is there seriously an American in this country who would vote for one of these assholes? Wow, you should be deported along with them.